Hi everyone and welcome to another kanji hacking video. Today we are going to learn this character. Okay, you may already know some of the parts of this character but before we get into that, first of all, let's figure out how we actually read the character. So, of course, we want to start with our onyomi. Okay, I'm going to go with the O. And also our kunyomi. Okay, onyomi is, let's zoom in a bit. Our onyomi is, we've got an. Easy, an. And our kunyomi is yasui. And change the colors. So we know by changing the color here that the I will always be separate from yasu. So whenever you see this kanji, the I is always going to be separate from the kanji itself. Okay, so we know how to read this. We know that it's an, which is borrowed from China. That's the Chinese reading that's come across. And yasui, which is the Japanese reading. We know that because the an is in katakana, the yasui is in hiragana. So what does it mean in English to start off with? Now you can learn this in any language you like, but for the sake of this video, let's have a look at what this means in English. So this is cheap. Cheap or inexpensive. It can also mean calm and peaceful. So calm, peaceful, cheap, inexpensive. That's what the character means. Why would there be two meanings? Who knows? I did not create this character, but there are two meanings that come with it. Whenever you see this character by itself, you know that it will have an I after it, so it is yasui, which means the cheap. Now, if you see this character with something else, it will usually have to do with the an. So generally when the characters are combined together, it will have the an meaning, which will follow the calm. It will generally have a meaning that has to do with calm, peaceful, safe, secure, that kind of meaning with it. And we'll learn a few characters a bit later on that go with it. But first, what does it mean in Japanese? So it's always good to learn your characters, not just in English, but also in Japanese. And this one means shinpai ga nai koto. That's one meaning. So we've got shinpai, which uses the heart, right? Shinpai ga nai koto. So there's no stress, no worries about it. The other is nedan wa futsu yori takaku nai. So we've got our nedan. And our dan. So nedan wa futsu yori. Oh, messed that one up. Nedan wa. I've now messed it all up. Nedan wa futsu. Futsu yori mo takaku nai. Which means it's cheaper. Well, it's not as expensive as normal things. So futsu yori, so the price is cheaper. Takaku nai. So it's not as expensive. Now, this character, how are we going to remember it? So by looking at it, you may already be thinking, okay, what is the radical part of this? And you might actually first go to saying that the woman is actually the radical part, but it isn't. The radical this, and the way often the radicals are usually the top or the bottom of the side. Now, yes, this is at the bottom, but it is not. And this is actually the radical, which is, what does it mean? It means ukamoni. Now I'm going to write this as Ukamoni. Now I purposely made our a katakana because if you look at the shape of that, you can probably see the similarity. Now, it didn't actually come from this. This particular part, the ukamuri, actually originated from something quite different. And it actually originated from a character, a shape like this. Now, that, over time, has turned into what we have now as ukamuri. Now, it's called ukamuri because it looks like the katakana u. That's why it's called ukamuri. But it actually originated from buildings. So whenever you see this, it generally has to do with places, buildings, and this term has to do with that safety and security. And inside of the Japanese dictionary, I had a look at it. It said, this is what it said. It said, 女が家の中で、落ち着いて座っている様子を表している. So it looks like a woman who is inside of a house, and because she's there, she feels safe and comfortable. Now you have to remember that characters are very traditional. Now you might think, well, hey, nowadays there aren't that many women at home, they're out there working. Well, they've always been out there working, but traditionally it has been that women are usually in home. Now, it's different, obviously, nowadays because people, women, men, they can do whatever they like and work and do whatever they like. But traditionally, you need to remember that characters were quite gender-based. So you have a woman who is at home and she feels comfortable and safe there. So that's one way to remember the character. Now, to remember this actual bushu, how are you going to remember it? An easy way to remember it is it actually looks a bit like a house. So if we just change our colors, it looks like the actual roof of a house. So if you think about it, you've got like your roof of the house and you've got the entotsu. Here we go. And then you've got your house below. So if we build our house like this, obviously not all houses look like that, but so you've got the character here. So that can then refer down to this. So you've got your ukamuri. So it looks a little bit like the roof of a house. That's one easy way to remember this. This is not a hard character to learn. And then, of course, this character below is actually the character for woman. So you have, however you want to remember this, that's fine. You can just imagine that there is a beautiful woman. This is not the best of pictures, but that's okay. And she is super happy. She's at home. She's relaxing. Maybe after having a long day at work, she's sitting down and she's relaxing. So you've got a woman who is at home relaxing after a very long day at work. So that is the radical and how we can learn it. Now, how can you actually remember this character? Let's put it into a sentence. And an easy one, let's swap out the colors a bit. Easy way to remember this one is, let's move over. So I've got here, for my character anyway, I've got my aunt bought a yasui. Remember, E is always separate. Yasui, house. Now, why did I use the word aunt? Well, that is because of So my aunt bought a yasui house. House, the reason why I said house, because it is the radical part of the house. And aunt, well, she's female. She's bought a cheap house. It covers the meanings as well as the actual parts of the character. Now let's come up with a Japanese sentence for this as well. So we can have, and this one we'll try and use the different readings for it. So we've got yasui, and then I'm going to have, not that, whoops. Yasui. So yasui o, well, that's really bad. ったから、不安な気持ちを感じる。So, 安い家を買ったから不安な気持ちを感じる。That's because I bought a cheap house. I don't feel good about it. I feel a bit uncomfortable about buying that cheap house. And so, two other words that we can learn with this. What are two other words we can learn? Let's think of two other words. A great one would be 安心. 安心. Anshin, which means peace of mind. Peace of mind, or relief or safety. And then the other one is Anzen. Let's go a different color. I think too much of the same colors here. And that was a bit big. Let's go up anyway, next to it. And next one is Anzen. Anzen means everything subete, and Anzen together is actually safety. Or it can also be security. Safety, security, Anzen, safe and secure. And that is how you can remember the character An or Yasui. So let's quickly recap. You've got the character. It has two parts to it. So we've got part 1, part 2. The top part usually refers to the Ukamoni, what's called Ukamoni, and it refers to buildings and houses and places, rooms, etc. So it refers, and then you've got a woman underneath, and together that creates Yasui. Now, whenever you read the kanji separately, it's always Yasui. If it's ever combined with something, it's generally read An. And it has the meaning calm, safe, peaceful, etc. For example, Anshin, peace of mind, Anzen, safety. So this is a super easy character to learn and to remember. Now, again, if these things don't work for you, what are you going to do? The best thing you can do is pull it apart and turn this into a picture or a way that you can remember it. Now, this works, but you may want to come up, and I actually suggest you pull this and you do this yourself and come up with your own pictures. You come up with your own story. Now, if you want to know more about the kanji method, click on the link below in the video on YouTube. It'll take you to a course that I've put together, and if you've got to take this course, this will go through the 5 steps to learn any kanji. Super simple and easy. The course itself also has a few bonuses. It also has the Kanji Go manga that I wrote that will teach you the 5 steps, and there's 4 of the bonus steps. Super simple. If you want to learn more about kanji, this is one of the best hacks you can learn to learn kanji. So click on the link below to find out more.